Situated in the epicenter of London's financial district, Bank is one of the oldest and busiest stations on the Underground. It's also a station with a spooky history. London legend claims a part of it was constructed on the site of a plague pit. What we do know is that its Northern Line ticket hall was once the crypt of the adjacent St. Mary Woolnoth Church. The dead, thought to number between 7 and 8,000, were cleared out when the station was built in 1900, with some being sent to South London's Nunhead Cemetery. One of the doorways leading down to the ticket hall was the crypt's entrance. In January 1941, tragedy smote the station when it sustained a direct hit from a German bomb. The station was being used as an air raid shelter and 56 people were killed. Perhaps this heritage of destruction and death has led numerous passengers and staff members to remark on the feelings of hopelessness, sadness and concern that seem to permeate the station. Then again, such sentiments could be influenced by the fact that trains running in the Bank shuttle so many commuters to grueling days at work. Bank is frequently rated as the worst station on the London Underground in passenger surveys. Passengers and staff have also noted putrid, unexplained smells wafting through the station. Might these ghostly pongs recall the long vanished plague pit and burial vault? Staff working late at night have reported odd banging sounds coming from lifts known to be empty and doors mysteriously slamming in the crypt ticket hall. The most infamous ghost connected with Bank Underground Station is that of Sarah Whitehead, otherwise known as the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street or the Black Nun. The legend goes that Sarah's brother Philip, a clerk at the nearby Bank of England, was fond of living a luxurious life. Surrounded by wealthy bankers and city traders, Philip didn't see why his modest clerk salary should prevent him from enjoying a similar lifestyle to his peers, so he borrowed money, getting into debt. Philip's beloved but naive younger sister Sarah, oblivious to his growing financial problems, eagerly participated in the high life along with him, eating fine food and quaffing quality wines. Philip, however, knew something had to change if they were to go on with the habits to which they had become accustomed. Philip had a go at investing in stock market, but merely lost money. He next tried gambling, which made him spiral into even more desperate debts.
You lost a fortune. Oh, I still have time for it. But now he can afford to lose. I may win. So the bank is broke. Continue. Just a moment.
He was driven into such anxiety that one day he listened to a friend who suggested he should forge a check at his workplace. Whitehead did so, managing to steal £87. was however soon found out and sent to the notorious Newgate prison to await trial. Philip sheltered his sensitive sister from all this, arranging for her to stay with friends who lived off Fleet Street. This was so, if he was found guilty, she wouldn't hear the bells of St. Sepulchre's Church tolling as he was led out of Newgate to face his execution. Philip was indeed sentenced to death, and he was executed in 1812, aged 36. After Sarah returned home, she, quite naturally, wondered where her brother was and started going to his former place of employment to inquire after him. She would ask his fellow clerks, "Have you seen my brother today?" To which they'd reply, "Not today, madame," before assuring her he was absent but well. One day, however, a tactless clerk blurted out all that had happened, informing Sarah that her brother had been rightly executed. This enormous and dreadful shock made Sarah lose her reason. She began dressing in black and, unable to process the fact of Philip's death, continued to visit the bank every day. She would still ask the clerks if they had seen her adored brother, to which the clerks, out of pity, would answer, "Not today." Sarah would chat with them for a while before saying, "Give my love to him when he returns. I will call tomorrow." Some say the authorities at the bank first tried to treat her kindly. She was given food and small sums of money and was sometimes even allowed to make use of a room. But the employees soon tired of her constant visits. As her mental condition further declined, they began to fear the unhinged, black-clad woman and her increasingly aggressive demands for cash. Some say she turned up at the bank every day until her death 25 years later. Others claim the daily visits lasted an astonishing 40 years. As the years passed, the macabre figure acquired nicknames: the Black Nun, the Bank Nun, and the Old Lady of Threadneedle Street. The Old Lady of Threadneedle Street is a colloquial name for the Bank of England itself, a name it may have acquired from its darkly clothed visitor. Sarah, who was 19 at the time of Philip's execution, is thought to have passed away at some point between 1837 and 1842, making her between 44 and 49 at the time of her death. Shock, grief, and her strange lifestyle may have aged her prematurely, though some claim she lived until the age of 60. She is said to have been buried very close to the Bank of England, but it seems that even death couldn't break Sarah's habit of haunting her brother's workplace. There have been sightings of Sarah's ghost in and around the Bank of England, and also in and around Bank Underground Station. The ghost apparently approaches pedestrians on the street, asking if they have seen her brother. Some of those approached, including groups of American tourists, had never before heard about her legend. Some sightings have taken place within the Bank of England's internal court garden. In the 1970s, two men saw a woman dressed in black walking hesitantly along the garden's path before falling to her knees and striking the path stones while shaking her head before vanishing. Interestingly, the church of St. Christopher les Stocks was demolished to make way for an extension of the Bank of England, and the path in the court garden is made up of the church's tombstones. Some say Sarah was buried in the graveyard of Christopher les Stocks, but this would be impossible as the church was knocked down in 1782. So if Sarah really was buried close to the bank, she could have been buried in the church of St. Mary Woolnoth. Some believe she was interred in the very vault which would become the station's ticket office, meaning her corpse was one of those disturbed in the station's construction. This might explain the legends of her ghost being glimpsed within the underground station itself. A commuter in 2001 traveling in the bank is said to have spotted Sarah. But, perhaps most spookily, a London Underground employee had a strange experience in the deserted station at about 2 a.m. The station was locked up and there should have been no members of the public inside. But, checking the CCTV monitors, the employee noticed what appeared to be a little old lady standing in a long corridor, close to a sharp turn, known as a dogleg, leading to a staircase. Puzzled, the man grabbed a portable radio and went to investigate. He claimed that as he approached the lady, she looked up straight at me, looked down again, and turned and started walking away. I started running down the corridor in order to catch her. But by the time I had got to the dogleg, she had disappeared, which I immediately thought strange as I knew I had covered that ground an awful lot quicker than she could have walked from the dogleg to the stairs. The man went up and down the staircase, checking it thoroughly, but found both sets of gates were still closed and padlocked, and she was nowhere to be seen. He radioed his colleague in the CCTV room and asked him to check the cameras to see where she could have disappeared to. The colleague checked over 100 cameras, but she was nowhere.